Welcome back in, guys. Trey Lowell here with Lowell Productions. Today's video is more of a challenge from the guys over at digitalproduct669.com. They recently hit me up and asked me if I would be interested in taking full advantage of their YouTube plugin pack for Final Cut 10. Now, if you're not familiar with plugins, stick around as I do a full walkthrough of how you could take full advantage of this plugin pack coming up next. So to start things off, let's go ahead and diagnose why plugins should be used in your workflow and why they are kind of a win-win for anyone that's willing to kind of spend the extra money. Now, what is a plugin? Well, let's just go ahead and think of a plugin as like an effect or a transition or even kind of like a color grading LUT, anything that can be brought into your video editor, particular for this video, Final Cut 10, and can be used quickly as a drop and drag kind of effect, transition, or anything of that nature. Final Cut already comes with a lot of effects, transitions, titles, you name it. Now, plugins are just added effects and transitions and titles that you can go out and purchase on your own. Now, I tend to like to use plugins really because it just makes the workflow increase drastically. Now, one thing that also is a bonus with plugins is going to be consistency. Once you've figured out how you like your plugin to kind of work, the color scheme, the font, the flow, you name it, once you've created it, moving forward, you're really gonna have to only copy and paste that particular plugin and then drop it into your next video project or on your effect. So that's something to keep in mind and why plugins really come in handy. Okay, so now that we're up in our editor, let's go ahead and take a look at the intro that was created for this particular video and where we dropped in some of those YouTube plugins and titles into that particular montage. Okay, so the first plugin that we're going to be using, we're going to go up into the left corner of Final Cut and we're going to click on titles. Now, once you're in your titles, I've got a lot here on the left-hand side, but we're going to scroll down to the TYP titles. Once we're there, this is where we're going to be using our first plugin, and I used plugin number 18. Really, I just enjoyed how it animated in. I also thought that it was a very clean look, and when I put it on top of my footage, it wasn't too distracting. So we went ahead, grab it. So we're going to go ahead and click on title 18, bring it down here. And now currently you're seeing two layers. I'm going to deactivate my original. And this is what we have. The DP699 YouTube channel, subscribe. Now, I'm going to actually just go ahead and jump back over to mine. Deactivating. Okay, and over to the right, if you're wondering how to actually get into the settings of that particular plugin, once you've kind of dropped it in your timeline, you're going to want to click on it, make it yellow, and if you haven't done already, you're going to go up into the top right corner, and we're going to go to our inspector, click on there, and now we're getting access into the functionality of this particular plugin. Now, this is a pretty simple one. I didn't do much. I really just kind of added text, changed the font, and kind of let it do its thing. I didn't actually even change the colors because I thought that it looked good and it'd give you guys an understanding of right out of the box what the product would look like. But like I mentioned before, I think the key to these plugin packs is going to be make it your own. Take what they've given you, change the font, and maybe change the color. That way it doesn't look like exactly what they've already packaged. You want it to be unique, but you also want it to be simple. Okay, so at this point we're scrolling over to the right and we have our plugin pack as text holder number 1. One thing that's going to be nice with this particular plugin pack, and I've found overall with a lot of their kind of animations, titles, transitions, is you are going to be able to manipulate them. Now, I have run into a few situations where I was not able to click on it and take full kind of advantage of the text and being able to manipulate it in the inspector. I don't know if that's a glitch, but I just found it with 1 or 2 of the titles. Not all of them. The vast majority of them I've been able to go into and manipulate. And as you guys can see, I've clicked into plugin pack. And if we wanted to kind of change that plug in pack 3.0, And as you guys can see, it can't actually fit in there, so we would need to then change the size here to make it work. And at this point, you guys get a little bit of an understanding of how we would take advantage of a title. Now, as we kind of move through the intro animation, I'm giving you guys a little bit of an understanding of some of the titles that can be used here through B-roll. And then we flip to another plugin that is going to be used. And that is going to be, if we go up to our titles, top left corner, where it says T, click there. When there, we're going to scroll all the way down, TYP titles. Not that one this time. Instead, we're going to go one up and we're going to go to side information. And the reason that I chose this is really I felt the need to at least show a few of the plugins in that montage, really just to give you guys a little bit of an understanding of what's being packed into this YouTube pack. Now I went ahead and chose info slide number 4 as the first one that you are going to see. So we're going to be in our slide info. They're all numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slide info, and we're going to come over to 4. Now, when I actually bring 4 originally, I think you guys will see here in this shot, it's positioned to the left, and I actually want to bring it over to the right. So we're going to go up into our inspector, top right corner. Then we're going to click on this little titles icon right here in the inspector. And we are going to then go, you'll see animation in and animation out. We were actually going to deactivate that. As regards to animation in and animation out, really simply put, whatever it takes and whatever it's doing to come in and whatever it's doing to go out. Now, take in consideration, if you do animate out, that does not mean that the clip literally will animate out at its very far or where it actually cuts off. Instead, it'll create that animation on the front end or midway through the plugin, and it will animate out. I know that probably doesn't make a ton of sense, but if you want something to stay the full length in your timeline, go ahead and click that animation out off. Now, if we wanted to kind of flip it from the left side to the right side, simply in our inspector, there's the flip option. We will click on that, and it then should flip everything to the right side. Now, only one time did I find that when I did the flip that I was actually not able to then go in and use it on the right side. And what I mean is that the fonts and the titles were backwards. Might have been a glitch, only found it with one. The rest have been able to go to the right or the left. Fonts were good and everything like that, and you were able to manipulate. And I keep bringing up some of these things in regards to being able to manipulate because some past plugin packs that I've bought, as far as manipulating the pack, it was very limited. It was kind of what you see is what you got. And so far with this particular YouTube pack, I am finding that at the bare minimum, you're able to go in and change your fonts, you're able to change your tracking, your spacing, and that's a huge advantage compared to some other plugin packs. Now we'll go ahead and deactivate that slide number 4, and so that you guys can see right here, it's going to come in, does this little animation thing, looks nice and clean, and then boom, we are rolling into another slide info, and that's going to be number 7. Simply put here, I just wanted to give you guys another little bit of a taste of how it animates in and what you can do there. Similar to the other animations, you were able to change the fonts. It's going to be one of those things where you're going to have to go in and also work with the scale. That way it fits your screen the way you want. You might even actually have to go in some of these text holder places and make sure you're kind of goofing around with the actual animation and the fonts, really to get it where you want. I will say, like I said, if you're wanting to manipulate, it's going to take a little bit of extra time, but I find that it's totally worth it because it really makes it unique to your particular brand or your particular YouTube channel. So just take that in consideration. I know it's a lot in the beginning, and seeing all of this, it can be overwhelming, but it's also super exciting because you have new animations at your disposal. So let's just take that in consideration right off the bat. You might want to jump in and do a little bit of manipulating, but I can understand it can get frustrating as it takes a little bit of time to get used to the workflow of how these plugins function. And hey guys, it's Trey Lowell with Lowell Productions, and as always, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like the content I keep putting out on this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video. And like I said, plugins definitely will save you time, money, energy, and I think if you got a little bit extra bucks, maybe go out there and do a little bit of research to see what can help you speed up your workflow. Because we all know, time is money. I'm out. reward myself with the beer now. A new beer. Pilsner. Hopefully you guys like that. Wow. Boom.